Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 1 of the Netflix Marvel original, The Defenders. So we've been waiting for The Defenders for a long time. Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist all come together to fight the Hand and save New York City. This is a special kind of show because it's a weird mashup of 4 other shows, and it pretty much expects you to have watched all of them, which you probably did. So last night I watched the whole thing and I have a lot to say about it, but unlike how you're supposed to make YouTube videos, I'm gonna start with the bottom line. It was fine. It was okay. It was alright. I mean, I had some fun with it. So there are actually a lot of things I really liked about this show. It's awesome that over the span of 8 episodes, these 4 people come together, they become a team, they learn how to trust each other, and they take on the big threat they were supposed to take on. It's not just all setup. It's not just, hey, next season they'll do some real fighting. No. This season tells a full story, and I think that's pretty great. The characters that I liked in the world of these shows, I liked them even more this time around. Jessica Jones was pretty awesome. She was probably my favorite. I thought she was the most interesting one, and she absolutely nails all the comedy that comes from her. Most of the comedy in this show comes from either Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, but I wish that Jessica Jones got even more focus. Luke Cage, in his own show, I thought he was okay, but I actually liked him a lot better this time around. His character makes a lot of sense in The Defenders. He wants to help out this kid in Harlem, he gets caught up in this whole story with the Hand, and he's not unreasonable about the whole working with other people thing. When he gets to a point where he thinks it makes sense for them to work together, he gets on board. That's something that I actually really liked for all of them. The way that they end up working together made a lot of sense. The reasons for each one of them to not want to be a part of this, or the other way around, are reasons that make sense. So when they do end up taking on the Hand together, you have this feeling of knowing why they're doing it. It doesn't just feel like, you know, they had to find an excuse for these people to team up. The cinematography was very interesting in The Defenders. You kind of expect it to be, you know, standard, but a lot of it is done in really cool, long one-shots or scenes that were edited to seem that way. There's a scene early in the show where Matt Murdock is in court and the camera just kind of flows from him to the defendant to the opposing lawyer and back to him, and there are several scenes in the show that are done this way, and I absolutely loved it. I love it when cinematography is used to make an otherwise mundane scene become much more interesting. What makes or breaks these shows is largely the characters, because the stories are mostly the same from season to season. There's something bad and the hero has to go up against it. That's why season 1 of Daredevil is still probably my favorite out of the bunch, because it feels more like a crime drama that has a superhero in it than a superhero show. And it had Fisk, who I still think is one of my favorite TV villains. So the story in The Defenders is mostly the Hand is going to destroy the city and the heroes have to go up against them and stop them. Obviously there's more to it than that, but that's the overall thing that drives the show. In addition, you also have the personal stories of Jessica, Luke, Matt, and Danny, which are mostly things that carried over from their own shows. The thing that kept this show from being great for me was that it felt like season 2 of Iron Fist more than anything else. Iron Fist is central to the whole thing with the Hand. He's the one that they're after. He's the main character of that story. Jessica and Luke pretty much just get caught up in the story, and Daredevil is tied through Stick and Elektra, who is now the superpowered Black Sky, and her superpower is that she's slightly better at fighting than everyone else. I wasn't a fan of Iron Fist. I thought it was the weakest show out of the bunch, and it suffered from a combo of a poorly written character and an actor who felt like he was the wrong choice for the role. And in The Defenders, he's better, and they try to acknowledge how he's the worst, but he still drags the whole thing down. I still found Danny's character to be cringy and annoying and incredibly stupid, which is fine because Some people are annoying, so a character can be an annoying and stupid person, but it's still impossible to buy that he is what he's supposed to be. I was hoping that we'll get a slightly more mature version of him, who's a bit more tolerable, but it's not just the character and the actor, it mostly is, but also the story around his character feels like it's several levels below the stories of the other characters. But it's the one that gets the most focus. The only saving grace when it comes to Iron Fist in this show is how the other characters also roll their eyes at him and make fun of him just like we do. The interactions and the comedy and generally the relationships between these characters I thought were all really well done in this show. Okay, so let's talk about the villain for a little bit. So after we saw them a little bit in the other shows, in the Defenders, we get to see the 5 fingers of the hand and learn more about them and how the hand started, which I thought was really cool. And the main villain is Sigourney Weaver as Alexandra, the leader of the hand. Fisk and Kilgrave from Daredevil and Jessica Jones were both very effective and menacing villains. And a big part of that, especially with Fisk, was that they were great fleshed out characters. They weren't just the bad guys. Season 1 of Daredevil was as much about Fisk as it was about Matt. Luke Cage and Iron Fist really went downhill in the villain department, and I feel that the Defenders comes a little bit closer back to those terrifying villains who work so well because they're also great characters. We almost get that with Alexandra. You kind of have like 5 or 6 villains here, so it loses some steam, kind of like it did in Luke Cage. Cottonmouth could have been up there, but he had to share the stage with like 2 other villains, so I liked Alexandra. You understand her vision and what she's trying to do, although the whole Black Sky subplot didn't really work for me at all. It's inevitable in a show like this, but there are so many subplots, so many supporting characters, and a lot of it becomes distractions and throwaway scenes, and you're not gonna care about all of it. None of it is bad, it's all fine, and that's why the season as a whole is fine. There are some really cool action scenes here and there. I was surprised that a lot of those were so heavily edited, like so many cuts in those actual fight scenes. We don't really get anything that compares to seasons 1 or 2 of Daredevil in way of cool, innovative, unique action scenes, but it's all still pretty awesome and definitely a good time. Listen, I have a lot more to say about the characters and the things they do and a bunch of other stuff, but I'm gonna save all of that for the spoiler talk video, which, by the way, you can still be a part of. Make a video reaction through the TV Time app and tweet it at me. More information in the description down below, but bottom line, should you watch it? I mean, sure, of course you should watch it. It's a good time. If you've come this far and had some fun with the other Netflix Marvel shows, then why the hell not? It's probably not gonna blow you away, but I'm pretty sure that you'll have some fun with it. I did. You have these 3 street-level badass superheroes just kicking ass, and they bring their idiot, spoiled rich kid friend with them along for the ride. So what were your thoughts about the Defenders, and which of these shows are your favorites and why? And I gotta tell you that if the Punisher show is not gonna be just the best thing I've seen ever, I'm gonna be extremely disappointed. If you're gonna be talking about spoilers, please use spoiler tags in your comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can find me on TV Time and Twitter and Instagram, and you can also join the Binge Watchers Discord server where we chat about TV and it's a lot of fun. All the links to those are in the description. But if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. It's a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you on the streets.